All right, hey guys, Sam here. Early afternoon on October 31st. We've looked at the Grossel coin. Again, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. Grossel coin, gross coin. That L is throwing me. But I thought it was just interesting, today with Bitcoin ripping like it is, who's outperforming Bitcoin today? Who can roll with it, right? So you just a sea of red, as you'd expect, as alts get hammered. So I'm always interested to see who's outperforming, who can run with it. And look at these numbers. So Grossel, which we just looked at, and then OKCash, which is one we've looked at before. So again, when I see this, I wanna know something about it. So if I go over here and I look at that, if we'll go to CoinGecko and we'll look at OK. Oh, I guess I got to capitalize it. Let's go OK. Where are you? There it is. Oh, browser's running slow today. So let's see what we get here on our CoinGecko scale. So 54. Okay, exactly what. Certainly enough to take a closer look at it. So now I want to go check it out. So let's see what we can learn here. Where have I got you? Right here. So I've got it against Bitcoin and the dollar. Let's start with Bitcoin because that's what we're curious about, given its performance today against Bitcoin. You can see we've had this major move here. It's pump. Who knows? Well, all I know is more buyers than sellers. People are interested. And is it technical? Well, I can, of course, we've been in a long downtrend, but I can get a 1-2 here, and then I look at that and say, well, how are we responding since then? Well, that fairly technical here. We're to the 618 to the tick. So again, this is one of those examples where you look at that and say, well, is this my 4? That's awfully abrupt, up and down. More likely, and what I would wait for, is to get 3-wave subdivision. So there's a likely candidate for my A wave, and now of course we're going to deal with the fib retracements coming back the other way. So if I just pull from that to that, now I know that likely contenders for my B wave, if I've got an A, are going to be somewhere around here, and then I'm looking for that C wave. Give it a little more time. Give it a little more time to prove itself that this is not just some sort of pump action and then it's going to get dumped. The fact that it's being bought here at the 618, that would suggest you've got algo activity because of the precision of that. So I'll just take this off just to declutter the chart. So, how do we qualify it? Well, at least we'd want to see a 50, at least see that. Now, remember that when you see that, what you're looking for, so now I'm staying on the 1 hour here because I don't, again, the only reason to go to a 15 is if you're trying to qualify something is see if you've got the subdivision down there. So I would like to see this come up and at least get in this window here between the 50 and the 618. It might do that today. So we get that potential subdivision down here, and then we look at this and we don't just have a rip up, a rip down, and then a rip higher. That kind of action is, if you catch some of that's great, but that's really not, the kind of trading that we're looking for because it's just so random, straight up, straight down, not the kind of thing that we're looking for. We're trying to get into trends that are establishing. So if we're going to find a new trend, we would expect to see it start out technically and see the kind of subdivision that would give us confidence that we're putting, in this case, we'd be putting in some sort of a 1 wave after a very, very long downtrend that we've been in, across all the alts. So is that real? Are we getting a real 1 wave shaping up here? If we are, well, then we can be patient. Now if it does do this, because nothing says it has to put in a 3 wave, that would be what you'd be looking for. But if this just rips straight up higher, so be it. Okay, so if that's the 1 wave, well, then we'll wait for that to complete, and we'll wait for the retracement to try and catch the next 50. So again, I keep harping on this. Wait for the trade. Don't jump on it just because it's moving. Look at it, because it's moving, but wait for it to set up in a way that you can be comfortable with it and you can qualify the risk and say, if it's this, then this is likely the next thing to happen. If that's a true three wave, then the thing that's likely and that I would like to see to give me confidence to get in here and trade this would be some sort of a three wave subdivision to give me confidence in a four. And ideally, you're catching the four a little deep down here, which I like. You know, this was the good part of if you were a buyer here just off the fib swing and you're keeping the Elliott out of it. I like my exit to be as close as possible to my entry, so then the risk is controlled. So we grabbed the wrong one. So if I wick this here and say, okay, well, as long as I stay above that, I have a contender for a 1, 2, 3, some sort of structure to put in a 5-wave sequence. Well, so far this all looks good. So you put the ABC. You know, it's like I'll do this sometimes. I'll just put the wave on it, and I'll just move it off to the side. Just grab it, move it off. Okay, that's what I'm hoping to see. I've got this very abrupt A. I'd like to see a B wave come up to some of these fib targets and then push back down for confirmation that I have an impulsive structure underway. Ideally, it's impulsive. We hold the one high. I get this kind of price action, and you know it may take its time because you'd expect a little subdivision into that B in some sort of a three-wave structure. So the idea is not to just pounce on this just because you wick the 618. I mean, you can if you're a scalper, but you know if you're trying to trade longer term, there's lots of upside here if we're going to catch this. So why force anything? Let it set up the way you want to see it. Then you'll have more confidence taking that trade. And if we get that push down for a C wave, the risk will be smaller, the upside will be greater. Exactly what we look for. All right, I'm going to make this a short one, so let's just go quickly look at it against the dollar because we don't have to trade it in Bitcoin. So, of course, very similar. Very similar. So we do the same thing. We'd wick this off in the 1. Here's the spike. So potentially this is our A. Now not quite as technical. We don't get to the 618 to the tick. So of the two, I like the Bitcoin slightly better. But you know, there's no reason that you couldn't trade this in the dollar as well. So same process. If that's my 3, I'm expecting a 3-wave into a B. I'd like to see this somewhere around here. That would be perfect. That puts my fib target down here off of that pull. I've got my 618. I've got my wave 1 high here. You know, maybe the oscillators can be helpful. We can see, okay, that's a big 3-wave. You know, maybe you get a little retracement to push it at least down into the lower zone to give you that energy potential for this to at least start going up to the first algo targets. So if you know, so that would be here. Then we've got some up above. So too soon to call any of that right now. We've just got this. Okay, that's enough to want to take a look at it. So now we monitor. So here I'd put an alert on the 50. I'd want to know if we get there, what kind of reaction. If it keeps going, I'd alert the 618, looking for that potential for the B wave to get put in, and then now look for the final push down to complete the C, give you a good 4, looking for the rip up on the 5. All right. Okay, I'll wrap it there.